Last video I did a very faithful replication of Yoshi from Super Mario World. This time, I think I'm going to try to do a Yoshi more as I would draw him. And I'm going to start with a circular nose. Doing perfect pixel circles involves paying a little attention to what patterns you're using. And that's a pretty nice pixel circle. You start with 4 pixels and work your way down to 2 and then 1. I'm not sure exactly what size. That isn't a constraint I had defined. Yeah, that looks about right for how I would do the eyes. Maybe a little wider on the eye. But I did decide to use precisely the palette from the Super Mario World Yoshi. And I'm not going to do any, just painting like that. Not going to do any random sporadic ditherings or anything. I'm going to try and keep everything pixel by pixel. Maybe we keep the face up a little more. That's not bad. Okay. I tend to tuck the back of his neck a little close under his head, I think. Kind of like in the Super Mario World cartoon. You know what I mean if you've seen it. It might be a little exaggerated, but we're going to go with it. And the saddle. That doesn't give a lot of room for the red surface of the saddle. I don't know, might work. Let's stay with it. And the tail. No, it's not pointy enough. I'll come back to that. His mouth looks a little bent forward, I think. Let's scoot that over. Okay, how do we do the lip? This can be a tough one when you're working at the pixel level. See there, it looks like his jaw is protruding too far forward. But if you go too far back, you get this kind of lippy look. That's pretty good. Let's go... Yoshi's hands are a big one. Sometimes he's drawn with hands. Sometimes he's drawn with, or orange arms and just kind of circles, just for the considering the needs of pixel art to have a low detail as you get close. Let's go like that, not curve it around. Hang on a moment. If you said Gesundheit, then good health to you as well. Feel free to extract that sound effect and use it as your system alert sound. Legs looking a little bit bulbous, a little too much down there. We're going to have another go at that. Now we know the upper extreme of Yoshi. We're not going to draw any higher part of him than that, except maybe eyelids. So I'm going to leave 2 pixels at the top just in case. Maybe that is a bit of a steep angle. Yet one more take on the tail. No, it's a little much. Boop, boop, boop. Like that maybe? Let's try the boots, because I always draw the boots with a rim, so maybe we start down there with that. And then... it's too lengthy. And it's too wide, I think, on all counts. So let's... Uh-oh. I don't want to fill everything with black. Let's pull you into there. I'll pull you into... maybe there. Tidy that up. I've been drawing Yoshi for a very long time, and freehand, it's pretty natural now. I'd have drawn 3 of them, and it would be over. But for now, this is the first time I've really tried to do this at the pixel level. Let's see now. Yoshi's chest comes down beneath his hands, kind of glances his legs. So the question is just how much can you play with that? Do we need to draw legs? Do we really need that? Hard to say. Probably not so much. While we're here, let's get the contours of his spikes. I think the largest spike is probably the top one or the second to top, and I'm going to draw him with 4 spikes, although I think in the games that has varied. And there we go. Let's fill those in with red. How does that look? The top spike, would it be better like that? Maybe. Let's fill in the eyes with color. Still haven't decided whether to give him eyelids across the top. Let's see what it would look like. Let's just get an idea. Let's make them no wider than 1 pixel. Maybe. What do you think? This is SpritePixels on the iPhone and iPad, by the way. I'm using it on an 11-inch iPad Pro. This is my own pixel art creation tool. Now let's go in and draw the white rim around the mouth. I think his whole lower lip is white. And the whiteness around his chest kind of goes in between his hands. It's sort of a toss-up whether we want to follow Super Mario World and do his hands orange or not. And now we start to see a little bit of shading. Let's say his hands are still green, and let's say the light is coming from, certainly from above, but let's say it's also coming from ahead of him. So the highlights go at the front here like this. Yoshi does have nostrils, but they could be a little more separated, maybe like that. Is that too much? Too tall for nostrils? That means his eyelids might be lighter as well. Yeah. And what about pupils? He's excited. Yeah. Don't know about the black outlines at the bottom of the eyes, though. And I think the main part of him here, actually, now that we can see how much space he's going to take, he has very small hands by comparison to other parts of him, huh? Let's see if we can center him within a few tiles. Okay. Let's put him there. Then we have 3 pixels space to work with on either side if we want it. We'll get rid of that lowest row of black pixels. Let's remove some of these extra tiles. Okay, he's coming. Now, I have 3 greens to work with from this Super Mario World palette. I'm not going to make his body the darkest green. I don't want to copy and paste that either. Let's fill Yoshi with the medium green. Or we could fill him with the bright green and just give him 2 levels of shadedness, if you will. I don't know, we've got time. So on the undersides of his surfaces, let's darken. Oops. Down here and everything, under the hands. Maybe immediately beneath the saddle, because the saddle might be casting a bit of a shadow. Possibly. And we might use the red for a shaded version of the orange. We could do that. Or we could use the red for the lip of the boot and leave the boots orange, but I think that's a little more confusing in the way it looks. And we can, rather than go straight to black, we could use the green as a median between white and green. That could mitigate the harshness there. But it's pretty hard to say, huh? That's a bit of a poser. I don't want to do too much more with highlights. We could do a little dusting like that and start to dither it. But I think the colors are a little too... The bright green is too much more dramatically bright for that to look too good. We could darken it a little bit so that it does blend in a bit better. But I'm not getting the impression that that is the answer. Let's extend the eye. There! That's what we're looking for. And this doesn't have to be a green Yoshi either, by the way. This could be a... any color Yoshi. My favorite non-green Yoshi? Probably... I was going to say blue, because I'm very fond of that color in many things. Nice kind of deep blue. But as far as Yoshis go, I love the... Can we highlight the spikes, I wonder? That's not so bad. It's a style. Let's see if we can even trace down like that. That can sort of imply the curve of his nose. Or maybe we can move that curve in a little bit. Nah, that might look good from further back. Anyway, there's a certain kind of brown Yoshi from... a light brown Yoshi from Yoshi's Island for SNES, which I call Malted Yosh, and I find that to be a very handsome look. Okay. Well, that's at least Yoshi. There are a couple of details I might change. That's a bit harsh right there. Could bring the darkness up a bit more. Could add a little highlight to the saddle if we're going to add it to everything else. The saddle's working fine, I think. That doesn't bother me. Yeah. Let's see. What happens if we were to just boop? Blue. There he is. That's our Malted Yosh. Yeah. But this dark brown doesn't necessarily need to be the background. We can change that one. I think I have this tendency to turn things a little bit more red after I'm done with the art, in post, as it were. Make a nice sky. Yeah. Can we brighten the red a little bit? Yeah, there we go. Then we get shades of orange. And maybe still that brightest color is a little harsh. There. That's pretty good. If I were to keep going with him, I might bring his neck a little further forward, like a little more jutted out. And maybe you have your own ideas of what you would do next to improve him just a little more. But I think I'll call it right there. That's my first attempt at a pixel art version of Yoshi that I constantly draw in a way that is so ingrained. And once again, I am Steve. Thank you if you've stayed with me. This is SpritePixels for the iPad and iPhone. It's on the App Store if you care to check it out. And I'll see you next time.